Morning, everybody. Matt Farnham here. I'm here with Scott Reynolds from Evergreen Home Loans.
Good morning.
We're here at Lofty Coffee Shop over here off of Rainbow and Robindale. Today we're going to be speaking about financing, answering some very common questions related to getting a mortgage. So let's go ahead and get to it. At Crown Point Realty, we believe in creating a real estate experience for our clients that is second to none. Educating and preparing our clients for what to expect is the best way to ensure we get you started in the right direction. As committed realtors, we are always on the go and always well caffeinated. We decided why not answer your real estate questions over a cup of coffee at some of our favorite spots. This is Coffee with Crown Point. All right, Scott, let's get into it this morning.
You betcha.
First of all, how's your coffee?
Vanilla latte is great, but not as special as your coffee.
So this is my butterscotch latte with cloud. This is actually cotton candy on top. It's now starting to open up and implode inside it, so it's going to get even better. But I'm drinking it out of a straw because I don't want to get this all over me while we're doing our video here, but I'm pretty excited about it. It's delicious. So hey, we're here with Scott. We're going to talk about financing. Let's get right into it.
You bet.
Probably there's two kind of big ideas to buying a home, and that's going to be credit and how much kind of qualify for. So first of all, credit.
Yes.
That's something we get questions about all the time. Obviously, you're the expert, not us. But what I have found is some buyers will put way too much emphasis on it, where to the point where they think it's the end-all, be-all of the buying, box, if you will, and then some not enough. They don't think it's that big a deal. If they have a good job, that they should be able to afford what they want to afford. So how important is credit, and how does it impact the purchase?
Well, credit is important. I experience that same thing that you're referring to. Sometimes I get people say, hey, I've got a great FICO score. Getting a loan is a lot more than that. As a matter of fact, your credit profile is more than just a FICO score. The FICO score is important, but one thing to know is you don't have to actually have a FICO score to get a mortgage. I do run across some folks that just don't have credit, and we have to establish what we call alternative credit to be able to get qualified for the loan. But again, the FICO score is important, and once you have a FICO score, you want to maintain a higher FICO score. That does help you.
And because it can impact what rate you qualify for different mortgages?
It can affect the interest rate, and if you have PMI on a conventional version of loan, it can affect the PMI factor, which affects your overall payment. Okay. It also can affect your ability whether you can get a loan or not.
Okay, gotcha. And then if I'm in the house shopping process or I'm shopping for a loan, what are some do's and don'ts? What do I not want to do when it comes to my credit?
I'm glad you asked that. When looking for a home, the best thing to do is kind of put everything on hold. And by that, I mean changing jobs, buying new things on credit, having your credit checked, and also putting money into your bank account that isn't direct deposit. You can do all of those things, but what you want to do is call your loan officer first and say, look, this is what I'm about to do. How could this impact the loan?
And I like what you just said, and that's for everybody listening. Call your loan officer first.
Always.
You've heard us say before that before you do anything, call a realtor. Just get that counsel, get some good advice. But same thing, before you start house shopping, get with a good lender that's giving you good advice, and just listen to what they say. Hang on to that, because that will make your whole process probably a lot less stressful and more fun. I know credit. How long? If you pull my credit for house shopping, how long is that good for?
That's good for 90 days.
Okay.
And then we have to update it if it's going beyond that. One thing's very important for homeowners to know is when you're in the home buying process, and so you're getting ready to close, then what happens in the mortgage industry, we do a credit refresh right before closing. That's a sneak peek at your credit to see if you've obtained any new credit, maybe defaulted on your credit, or anything else has changed. If there's enough of a significant change, then the lender has to pull a brand new credit report and issue new FICO scores, which could make your loan approval go away.
So even more important, why don't do anything without asking your lender before you do it?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. And then, of course, so the credit part's out of the way. If we get that figured out, how much do I qualify for? That's what every buyer wants to know. How much home can I buy? How do we figure that out?
That is an interesting process. It's going to start with the income, and the income that a borrower makes is sometimes different with the income that the mortgage company uses for qualifying. So what the lender has to do is go through and do an analysis of the income, and the general rule of thumb is to remember 45% of the gross usable monthly income.
Gross income.
Yeah, we're going to subtract your debts that show up in the credit report from that amount, and then what's left over is about the amount used for a home mortgage payment. Sometimes those numbers can go higher than that, or sometimes lower, depending on the qualifying scenario. But 45% is a good rule of thumb.
Okay. And one thing that we've noticed in our office is a lot of buyers, and maybe it's from the crisis we went through a few years ago, where we saw kids growing up saw their parents with their home struggles or lose their home, and they don't want any part of that. It seems to me people are a bit more conservative now in what they want to go buy, or at least they start that way. So how do we figure out the balance between this is what I can qualify for, but really this is what I'm comfortable with?
I start that in the beginning of the process. I sit down with somebody before we get going on how much of a home they qualify for. I asked the individual or the couple, how much of a house payment are you guys comfortable with in a monthly budget? And we want to work through that and have them understand and explain that to me so that I can then go through the qualifying process and see if their qualifying capability is equal to or above their comfort range.
Gotcha. Nobody wants to work for the house, right?
You don't want to be house rich and cash poor.
But that 45% is designed for a purpose.
It's designed for a purpose to keep people within budget and not overextending themselves.
Okay.
Everybody's situation is unique, and again, the income we use for qualifying sometimes a little bit different than somebody's reality of income. For example, if they're a tip earner, if not all of their tips are reported, I may not all of their income. Or they may have a spouse that's not going on the loan, we're not using their qualifying income.
Or self-employed, they might need more reserves to be comfortable with their budget.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So those are the two big things we talk about all the time with financing. And
yes.
And the other question is, man, there's FHA, VA, conventional, rehab loans, grant programs. We hear them on the radio. There's so many programs out there. How does a buyer figure out what program is best for them?
The best way to start is to pick up the phone and give me a call. Everybody's situation is unique. I need to sit down and have an interview and go through their scenario, their life situation, where they stand now, where they want to go, so we can discover together what they need to do to get where they need to go.
Gotcha. I love how you always tell me, says, hey, let's get them in here. Let's get all the cards on the table, and we'll figure out,
absolutely,
looking at down payment, payments, all these different things, what makes the most sense for their family. And usually when you do that, it kind of crystallizes and it becomes more apparent what is best for you and your family.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful thing about numbers. They will arrive at the answer for you.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks, Scott.
You betcha.
Appreciate your time. And everybody, thanks for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you again on our next episode of Coffee with Crown Point.
Thank you.
Do you have a question that you'd like to have answered? Feel free to submit a comment below, send us a message, or give us a call, and we will feature it in an upcoming episode.